YouTube, what's going on? YouTube, what's going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy one more time, DEDRICKHICKSJR, and I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell good, family. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. Positive energy, positive vibes. Y'all know how we get down here in this channel, man. Positive vibes only. All right. So today, Smell Good, family, we are back with some kind of blind buying confessions. But the bottom line, you know, expectations are always set, especially things that you're into, and blind buying is definitely one of those. So got 7 fragrances here today. Going to speak on the positive today, that these ended up being way better than I expected. All blind buys. First time smelling them was actually through the bottle once it arrived to my house. All right, so I love these fragrances and want to continue to spread the conversation about them. Again, I do not encourage blind buying. Disclaimer alert. I do not encourage blind buying. I know I got some blind buy warriors out there. I encourage sampling, actually, but I get it. I understand. It happens, and it happened to me at least 7 times. So let's go ahead and type in to it. Up first, the DNA I had experienced before, but not this particular flanker. But you guys encouraged me on the live stream. Look into the Extrait. Look into the Extrait. You think the original is good? Look into the Extrait. And you guys were right. From the house of BDK Parfums Paris, we're talking Gris Charnel Extrait. Gris Charnel Extrait. Man, smelling the original on a live stream, I was blown away. I said, wow, this stuff smells really, really, really good. But then when I got my nose on the Extrait, the fig, the sandalwood, or the sweeter elements to this fragrance, I really love how the woods really play a part where this thing is just mellowed out. It's not too sweet, it's not obnoxious. It is, man, this stuff is a 10 out of a 10, man. And I love to wear this during the cooler months. This was actually my first ever BDK in my collection. And this is where I started to really experiment with what fig, the note of fig, can actually do different things in fragrances. But that creamy, slightly milky, sweet aspect that it provides with the woods in here is outstanding. All right, so blind buy, yes, ended up being a huge win. Ended up being way better than I expected. I love this stuff. Definitely something to look into. Sample or blind buy if you must. All right, from the house of BDK, we got Gris Charnel, the Extrait. Gris Charnel, the Extrait. All right. Up next, from the house of Rochas. There's a reason why I don't have a bottle of YSL Tuxedo. And actually there's 2, but this is the main one. From the house of Rochas, we have Moustache EDP. Moustache, the EDP. Man, I love the Tuxedo DNA, but I really love the rolls, what the rolls and what the benzoin do in this particular fragrance. There's others out there that are really good. Other tuxes out there, and different ones from Mason and Homme or Latafel, but this is the one. Over time, this has been the one. And I went back and forth with different clones that I've had in time, but this is the one that remains. And this is why I don't have a bottle of Tuxedo. And getting it in, you know, I was very hesitant after experiencing Tuxedo, because I'm like, man, you know, at that point it was a real pretty penny for me to grab a bottle of that. But I was hearing so many great things about Moustache, and with the rose and the benzoin do, it kind of does its own thing, but overall it has that Tuxedo vibe. And I love this stuff. My wife is a huge fan. She deems this as one of the 10 best sexiest fragrances in my collection. And I do have a 75 ml backup bottle of this. Very elegant, very classy to me. You can also wear this to the office and just different things, man. When you're dressing up, going to have a good time. Not like suit and tie, but suit and tie you can, but I didn't mean just suit and tie. You could be getting fly. You and your lady or you and the homies could be going out having a good night, and this would definitely hold it down, especially in the cooler months. From the house of Rochas, we have Moustache EDP. Definitely ended up being way better than I expected. Sample, please, but blind buy. if you must. All right. Up next, let's freshen it up a bit here. This is one of the more polarizing fragrances in my time in FragCom, especially when I came in, and especially once I started doing content. Not a scent for everybody, but I really, really love wearing this in the spring and the summertime. Really in the spring. And it's just a particular unique DNA, and Hermes, they just don't miss. They provide something so great to the community, and that's being different from every other thing going on in the designer world. From the house of Hermes, we have H24, and this is the EDP. What the juice looks like is what the fragrance smells like. All right, you get some nice balmy, earthy, slightly fresh, spicy florals. Some people say they get this like banana, this banana vibe. I get it in the opening, and that's the mixture of all the different florals in this fragrance. This is classy. I think this is very masculine. Again, florals, depends on who you're talking to. You know, they could come off this way or that way, but we're not here for that conversation. We're here to talk about H24. And this is one that I was very, very anxious, and this was actually a birthday gift. I had never smelled it. I had smelled the EDT and I liked it, but the EDP had intrigued me the most. Well, my sister was very thoughtful and kind to buy this for me for my 39th birthday. And when I got it in, I was like, wow, this is so different. But I was logged in. I was locked in. I was like, I really enjoy this. And it's one that I definitely encourage a sample. Blind buy if you must, but sample if you can. But this one definitely exceeded expectation and ended up being way better than I expected. From the house of Hermes, we're talking H24, the EDP. H24, the EDP. All right. Up next, this is my most recent pickup out of everything that we're discussing tonight. And every time I talk about it, I gotta shout out my guy, Charm City. Charm City, man, he talked about this fragrance very highly. I've been intrigued. I want to tap in. I got it for a great deal on FragranceBuy.ca. And man, this is one of the better, versatile, fresh, everyday, unique, freshy experiences. And I love this stuff. From the house of Arabian Oud, we're talking Diwan. Diwan is awesome, man. It is awesome. I haven't had it that long, and look at the dent. We're working on one for sure. Nutmeg, green apple, lavender, cashmere and wood, cashmere and oud. Oh, it's just, I love the dry wood and the fresh cut green apple lavender combo. That cashmere and wood oud that is so well represented here. This stuff is fantastic. A super blind buy. I just saw conversations and heard conversations and have been intrigued by this for quite some time. I got it for a really good price, and I said, you know what? Here goes nothing. Don't be like me. Be better than me. But this ultimately worked out very, very well, and so glad to have this in my collection. One of the dopest pickups of 2024 for sure, and definitely one that exceeded expectations. Got lucky here with really loving this one, and way better than I anticipated and expected. From the house of Arabian Oud, we're talking Diwan. I mean, you can wear this every day. Every day. Definitely a unique approach to an everyday fresh fragrance. All right. Up next, man, this is just one of my favorite from the house. It's in the top 5. I'm a huge fan of Fougere's barbershop style scents, and this is a modern one for the ages. And Claudia is exceptional, especially with this DNA and in this lane. From the house of Zaharoff, we're talking Signature Pour Homme. I did not expect to fall in love with this like I did. I was very hopeful because I am a fan of the house. I had never experienced the original DNA, and this Pour Homme version is so great. Fresh and spicy and masculine, and it definitely has that modern day, modern man Fougere vibe. And it's great. I might wear this tomorrow. One of my absolute favorites to wear to the office. Cardamom and the woods, and there's a little bit of a oud here. I know the extreme is on the way, and apparently that is a more amped. The oud is more amped up in that one. Can't wait to see what that's all about. But this one right here, for an everyday wear going in and out of the office, this is what I would consider, just if I had to like pick one. It's like that for me, and I've had this for a couple of months now. Got a decent dent in it, wearing it to the office. I always get complimented by a handful of the fellas who I work with, and they forget every time that I call it Zaharoff Signature Pro Homme that it's called that, and I always remind them what it is. But it's one that just radiates off of my skin, performs really, really well. Definitely, the expectations were well succeeded to my liking, and I like this. I love this fragrance a lot. So from the house of Zaharoff, something that is just ended up being a great one, like a personal great fragrance in my collection. Zaharoff Signature Pro Homme. You can sample this, but you also can blind buy it. I recommend sampling though, for sure. All right. Up next, man, golly, when I first got this in, speaking of fougères, this is another take on a fougère, but when I got this in, shout out to Joel Matrix if you're watching for this recommendation. This is one of the best, if not the best, fougère barbershop in my collection. From the house of 8 and Bob, we're talking about Egypt. This is a classic fougère DNA for sure. Fresh and spicy takes, very, I want to say old school, but mature vibes with this here. It almost comes off as a very mature fougère fragrance, and it's like a note of like brandy or rum or whiskey or something here. And I don't believe that there's any type of booze in the note breakdown, but I just can't help but think of being freshly shaved or freshly cleaned up, and you know, you're going straight to a lounge or a nice bar and having a nice whiskey, you know, a nice whiskey, smooth bourbon or something like that. That's just what this reminds me of, and I love it. Blind bought this off of Joel's recommendation. I've recommended this countless times, and it is great. Exceeded my expectations. Although a blind buy, I took a shot. It looked like it would be something that I would really be into, and boy, oh boy, am I glad that it worked out that way, for sure. So again, I don't encourage blind buying. I've been saying it all video. Get a sample of this if you can, but blind buy if you must. For me, it worked out. I hope it works out for you. From the house of 8 and Bob, this stuff is great. We're talking Egypt. You're going to see a lot more content about this fragrance in the upcoming winter videos and seasons, because I really love to wear this when it's not like brick cold, but like cold. I really enjoy what this does in the cold air, but you can wear it pretty much all year round. All right. And last but not least, I was literally scared to death of blind buying this, but I did it anyway because of the price. There were a couple of my favorite content creators out there talking about this fragrance at the time nonstop. Every cool weather or even any type of video related to cooler weather or whatever, this was in a few guys who I really respect in this space in their videos. And I said, you know what? I found it for a good price. But looking at the notes, I was like, man, I don't know about coconut and oak moss, Chinese cedarwood and tobacco with the rum. I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out. And boy, when I did find out, whew, we're talking about my favorite top 2, top 3 from the house. At the time, it was my favorite from the house before others got to the collection. Neither here nor there. But from the house of Nishane, fan your flames. Whew. Good Lord. Good Lord. Oh, this is so good. The cedarwood for me, the rum, the cedarwood, the tobacco. I get more of the tonka bean as this starts to dry down. This is such a unique fragrance, not for everybody. As a matter of fact, the first time my wife smelled this, she was like, it's okay, it's not for me, but I could definitely see you wearing it. But yeah, it is for me. My juice has gotten darker since I've gotten the bottle, but the wearing experience and where I've worn it, I've been complimented on this fragrance. It performs like a beast, and I love this stuff. If I had to keep one Nishane out of them all, and it would be really, really hard to pick one, this would definitely be in heavy consideration. So blind buy for sure. I got a great deal on it. I got it in and was petrified of what my experience would be, but ultimately it really, really worked out for the best. And it actually sparked my rabbit hole of Nishane. After that, I went on B612, Popular Fico, Wulong Cha, Ani X, like So Hashiva. I went down the line and experienced pretty much the whole house, but this is the one that kickstarted and stands probably in that overall #1 spot from the house of Nishane. It worked out, people. It worked out. We're talking fan your flames. I love this stuff. Love, 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 love. Again, I don't encourage blind buying. I encourage sampling. Sample, sample, sample. Blind buy if you must. Blind buy if you will. But always know there's going to be a great chance that you might not like what you spent your hard-earned money for, and that's the risk you take. But in my case, it worked out. Expectations were met beyond, and very, very happy that these ended up being way better than I could ever thought of or expected, and that's a huge win for me. Hopefully you guys have experienced a lot of wins. There's some things that I purchased, and I'll do a video on it, another video on it in time. There's some fragrances that I purchased where I was kind of like, it's cool, and I ended up throwing that fragrance away. That's the only fragrance I ever thrown away. It was that bad, turned my stomach and all that. It was terrible. We'll talk about that at another time. But hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the love and support. Thank y'all for watching. I do not take it for granted. If you want to be the next member of the Smell Good family, just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and meet me down in the comments. We can talk about what you love and what I love, and that is the beautiful art of fragrance. All right, so let me know down below, what were some of y'all most successful blind buys? What were some fragrances that blew you away beyond expectation wise? I would love to read those and talk about it with y'all in the comments. All right, so peace, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Positive energy, positive vibes. Splack up, splack it down, splack that thing all around. And remember, what you put onto this world is exactly what you're going to get back. Appreciate y'all again. Till next time, peace, y'all. Splack. Why'd I do this? Get better, my friend.